Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Seminary. I hope you are great. So, Asians are still not resting because they also decided to drag Black people into the discussion. And one thing I know for sure is that when Black people tell you that they will never keep quiet, especially when something is going on in their community, they know what they are saying because keeping quiet is like accepting defeat or not creating awareness about what is going on in your community. They are saying that almost every black person know what they are saying. Yeah, black people do know what you are saying, but still some do not want to talk on it because it's none of their business. Yeah. Go and ask black people what happened to their prominent and prosperous communities. Go and ask them. When you find out what happened to them, it was like it starts like this. When you allow them an inch, they move further than an inch and then come into your space and feel free there. And then before what is going on, it is their space too. Then you start dragging your space with another person. By dragging it, they are in numbers. They will come out and outnumber you, and you are homeless. I saw so many Asians that are married to white people. Some of them couldn't speak on it. Why? Because how do you want them to speak when they are married to white people? You and I know, I don't know what is wrong with Asians when they marry white men. It feels like their world is all made. I don't know why they behave like that, but it is what it is. Stay glued. Let's get into this.
I have something to add. Why is it that every black person on my For You page who is commenting on the side eyeing or not side eyeing white people in H Mart, they get it like that, like what's going on and why that's a thing. But like, there's fully grown Asian creators who are like super defensive of white people for some reason. Also, you could interpret this discourse as a different thing, which is, are Asians Asian? Or are they just viewed as like half people, which is whack as well. But anyway, I mean, you can tell with some of these larger creators, just look at their followings, like who is their audience made of, and maybe you get an idea of why they take a certain side. White people in H Mart, they get it like that, like what's going.
So I've been waiting for somebody to tag me in. So I am so very thankful. So tag me in, brother. I can answer that question for you. So the reason that black people get this conversation and understand it so much is because throughout the course of American history, we have been the number one victims of exactly what you guys are trying to stand 10 toes down on. Black people spaces have been infiltrated, disrespected, communities burned down, and things all for white people to try to steal every single ounce of social capital that we have ever created without ever doing any of the work to dismantle the systems or to remedy or rectify any of the harm that was done to our communities. So this is why we understand. Number two, we also understand because these exact people in your community are the ones we've been telling you about for years. These are the people who white people proposition, and put on a pedestal that makes this whole idea of the model minority exist. These are those people. And so we've been trying to tell you that these people exist within your communities for forever. So I'm very happy that you guys are now seeing it. And I'm very happy that black people immediately identified and jump to your side. But I will say this to you guys: never not stand 10 toes down on protecting your safe spaces. Do not let these people come in here and play victim and act like they don't understand the nuance and the gravity of these types of conversations, because they do. But what happens is they are trained from a very young age to shift the conversation to make you the problem so that they never have to deal with the issues of their communities as a whole. So always stay on their neck, always fight for your safe places and safe spaces, and always side at them hoes. Because what are they going to do? And also, you guys need to find an Asian version of coon, because these are the people that you're fighting against right now. They're Asian coons. Real quick, do not say coon. You will get beat the fuck up. Just a thought.
That y'all aren't gonna like but there is an expectation that Asian people will pander to white people. It's rooted in xenophobia and the model minority myth. And I'll even take it a step further. The Asian people who are making videos like, oh my gosh, this discourse is so stupid. Like, do we not have anything better to talk about? Blah, blah, blah. Y'all are also pandering to white people and you don't even realize it. Because let's be so honest here, if the original creator was not a Asian woman talking about an Asian grocery store, but a black person talking about a black beauty supply store or a black owned business, it would have not gotten the same amount of outrage it did. Now, before I get the comments, oh, why do you have to bring black people into this, whatever, I want to have like an actual nuanced discussion on critical race theory, like when it comes to this topic. And it's also because a lot of the white people that were so outraged by this discourse wouldn't have said shit if this was about a black creator, and I'm going to tell you why. If we look back at history, a lot of black American culture was born essentially because white people stripped black people of their ethnic culture, heritage, and roots. As a lot of us know, a lot of black Americans don't even know where their African ancestors are exactly from because their history was erased and destroyed through slavery. And a lot of black American culture was created in spite of white people and their perpetuation of racism. So a lot of black Americans created products that were made for them based on their features. And they also cultivated their own culture within the context of the United States and kept it alive despite systemic racism that they constantly faced. So if black people see a white person come into their space that was created in spite of them, obviously there are going to be side eyes, but the reason why there are side eyes is much more obvious. So if a black creator created a similar video to what Madeline did, the white person saying, oh my gosh, this is racist, this is prejudice, would look much more blatantly racist. And the discrepancy lies in that Asian people came to this country voluntarily. So white people subconsciously hold this like entitled energy against Asian people. It's sort of this sentiment of like, wow, we let you come into our country and now you're gonna gatekeep things from us? Classic model minority myth. I'm gonna give a second to the white people who come across this video and was just rage baited by what I said. They're probably thinking like, oh my god, I wasn't thinking that, you can't speak for white people, bah. But let's be honest, if this discourse wasn't Asian grocery store, but it was black beauty supply store, would you have felt the same? Think about it. If you think they're the same, you're just racist, like good old American classic. But if you would have reacted differently, you're subconsciously xenophobic. And just to talk more about the other differences, like Asian culture was not created in spite of white people, it was created literally somewhere else. So there's not as strong emotions to try and protect and gatekeep it. Asians and Asian Americans alike, like we love sharing our culture for the most part. That also explains why some Asian Americans felt the need to pander to their white audiences, because there's a subconscious thought that gatekeeping our culture will hurt us in some socioeconomic sense. But when you look at the widespread of Asian culture in the United States, a lot of us have also seen our culture become gentrified, fetishized, appropriated with no respect to the actual culture. Like, let's be so honest here. Like, it wasn't until a couple years ago until white people stopped labeling our food as like disgusting or smelly or exotic. So when it comes to the context of the United States, a lot of Asian Americans have this like conflicted emotion of wanting to share our culture but not wanting it to be disrespected. And you literally see this conflict of emotions happen within Madeline's original video. She literally says in the video, like, I'ma still side-eye because I'm a bitch, but please come and still support these businesses. Now, to the white people who thought they did their big one by commenting shit like, oh, I better not see Asians at Trader Joe's after this or some shit like that. You know, like Trader Joe's, Walmart, like all these like grocery stores, they're not white grocery stores. They're not white establishments. They're American establishments. But the fact that you're conflating white to America, that's racist too. White was never a culture. It will never be a culture. And the fact that so many of you tie your whiteness to your culture is concerning, and that's something you need to think about. Also, to the Asian people who felt the need to make a video about how stupid this discourse is and like we should be having so many better conversations, do that. Start the conversation. Why are you engaging in a discourse that you think is stupid? Like, yeah, I thought this conversation was pretty ridiculous at first too. And then I saw so many other creators making such insightful and nuanced discussions about it, and I continued to listen to them. But if you thought the conversations weren't worth your time and you thought they were stupid and you don't know why people are making videos about it, why did you make a video about it? The thing that y'all don't understand is like going publicly to say that you're shutting down a discourse or dismissing a discourse is engaging in the discourse. For those 5 to 10 minutes you spent on making a video about how stupid you think the H Mart discourse is, you could have been talking about something that you thought was important and relevant, but you didn't. So what does that say about you? I'm gonna say
to the girl who said she feels uncomfortable or side-eyes white people at the Asian market, am I the only freaking one who knew exactly what she meant? Because I felt like a shitty person just now, watching a bunch of other East Asian people say, oh my god, she's being racist. I am so sorry also that I'm wearing this, but it's supposed to be an overnight thing and y'all are just gonna have to look at my face like this, okay? It is what it is. In all seriousness, the reason I agreed with her, I have a personal story about this. And before y'all say, girl, you're not East Asian, true, but I go to Asian markets all the time. I go to South Asian markets because I'm South Asian. I go to East Asian markets a lot because I love lots of different Asian foods. And I go to Asian markets as a whole because a lot of the bigger Asian markets are combined Asian markets here in Germany. So you have the South and East Asian markets combined. I will never forget this. This wasn't even that long ago, okay? I was minding my own business as usual. I go to that market for a bunch of different foods. I'm in the South Asian section of the market, looking at different spices. And I am looking at turmeric. Okay, looking at turmeric, I've been buying turmeric for years. Okay, I'm Pakistani, I'm South Asian, I know what to do with turmeric. Okay, I've been cooking with turmeric for years. My mom's been cooking with turmeric for years. My grandmother, like everybody in my family, has been cooking with that freaking yellow powder for freaking decades. I see a white lady side-eyeing me. Don't really think anything about it. I have headphones in my ears. I usually listen to music when I'm out. And I'm like, what is she looking at? Okay, and I don't really think anything. And then she smiles at me and I'm like, what's going on? Does she have a question? Does she want to talk to me? I take out my headphones and she's like, oh, hey, I saw you picked up the turmeric. It's really good for you. Okay, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I just wanted to make something with it. And she's like, yeah, it has amazing health benefits. I know that too. Then I just want to leave. Like, I got my powder. I want to leave. And she looks at me and she's like, but you picked up the powder. Yes, I did. I said, yeah, I have the powder. This is the turmeric powder. And she says, but I mean, this is good for you. But if you buy the raw turmeric, that is so much better for your health. And I look at her and I go, huh? And I'm thinking, इसको जुमा जुमा 8 दिन हुए अभी ये चीजें इस्तेमाल करते हुए, and she wants to lecture me on it. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, raw turmeric is good, but this is also great. And she said, no, see, this has been sitting on the shelf for so long, the raw turmeric is better. And I'm like, girl, at this point, I'm getting really angry because I want to end this conversation and I want to leave. Like, what do you want from me, right? First of all, you're in a space that is not really your space. Do you know what I mean? You are in a market that is meant for people of different ethnicities in Asia. You're here shopping at a place you don't really know that much about, and you're lecturing someone, again, who was born into that space. I look at her, she said, especially if you want to make smoothies. I don't know what the F it is with some people and their freaking smoothies in the morning. Girl, you can make all the smoothies you want. I know that y'all, when you drink your goats and lattes and whatever, bitch, what the fuck do you think is in that latte? Like, I'm sorry. And I know that some people genuinely, when the craze with turmeric happened, so many different nations use turmeric for their shit. So many people started to use raw turmeric, like the fucking raw turmeric. They would peel it and put half the raw turmeric in their smoothies. And this is the thing with some people. Food is also meant to taste good. I know that some people just want to eat the freaking salad and drink the freaking smoothie for their health benefits. There are cultures out there who want to eat the food because it tastes good. And if it adds some health benefits on top of it, great. We know how to do that. I think I know what I'm doing. And when that girl, bringing me back to the story, this story pissed me off, I swear to God. And ever since then, I try to mind my business. And whenever I see white people in Asian markets, I'm like making a huge round around them. I don't know if they're going to look at me and try to lecture me about my own foods because I don't want that beef, I was like, okay, I just try to end the conversation. I said, I think I know what I think I know what I'm doing. And I just picked it up. I said, I'm fine with the powder. And I left. So when that girl said she side-eyes white people in Asian markets, when I tell you, I knew what she meant immediately. She was not trying to be hostile. She was not trying to be mean. She was also not trying to be racist. Maybe she also had negative experiences or like really weird experiences where people are, again, trying to lecture you about your own foods. Okay, I can't believe that I said all of this with this freaking mask on, but the point is still being made, okay? Let me know down below if you knew what she meant, okay? Maybe they're just sweet, nice, kind people who love different Asian foods. They're buying the food, cooking it at home, and they're good to go. Or, again, I have also had those negative experiences where they just want to lecture you about your own food and you go, really? Okay.
That H Mart situation is crazy because y'all dad got on this app, twisted that lady's words, and called her wrong for what she said, and she was not wrong. As a black man in America, I completely understood what she was saying. Because growing up, all you heard was negative stereotypes from white people about the Asian culture, the black culture, the Mexican culture, and etc. But then you turn around and you see them indulge in that stereotype. So yeah, I completely understand what she's talking about. I'll even give you some examples. Growing up, all you heard was black people love fried chicken, but white people love it the most. Raising Cane's, KFC, Chick-fil-A, go to all these places, they are dominated by mostly white people. So yeah, when I go to these places, I give them a side eye because all my life, all I heard was black people love fried chicken, but all I see is white people in these establishments. I also lived in the red state, Missouri for 2 years. I was staying in Columbia and working in Jefferson City, and I don't think you can find a black man that stays in Jefferson City. Them about the 2 whitest cities in Missouri. And my whole time there, all you heard was, oh, we're gonna build that wall. We're gonna make sure these Mexicans get out of our country and stay out of our country. But those people, they love Mexican food. I swear to you, if you go to any Mexican restaurant, it's always packed, and it's packed with not Mexican, not black, not Asian. It's always packed with white people. So yeah, you're telling me that you hate these people so much that you want them out the country, but you enjoy their culture and their food so much. Think about this. They celebrate Cinco de Mayo. And then y'all changed the lady's words up, acting like she was trying to say that white people should be excluded. And you had Asian people and white people doing that. And even though y'all changed this lady's words up, I need help understanding. Now, there were some Asian people and white people saying this. So y'all telling me that we should not exclude white people. The literal creators of exclusion. Did we forget that they created segregation? Did we forget 3/5 of a human? Now, by no means am I saying that we should exclude them. I just want to get that out there. But the pandering and crying out that they deserve to be included is what's crazy to me. Now, I have some good white friends and white families, so I'm not talking about all of white people, but it is a good majority of them. And we all lived through all of this. So for y'all to be acting like what she said was wrong is absurd to me. But let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all in the next one.
Okay, there's a lot of discourse happening amongst the Asian American community with white people shopping at H Mart. Now, as a black person, I know this is not my business, but I also feel like it is my business, and I really want to share my opinion. I'm not going to give you the full backstory. I'm sure that if you click down below in the search bar or above, you will find multiple people talking about this. But I do want to give a quick synopsis for those who don't want to do all the research. One half of this community is basically coming from a place of sharing their history of hurt. To have your cultural foods be labeled as smelly or gross, or to be bullied because of what you eat, I could totally understand where they're coming from on why they wouldn't want to see these white people in their spaces. I see the other half of the Asian American community saying, well, food is meant to bring people together. We may not all share the same language, we may not all have the same culture, but food is kind of that bridge that connects us. And it's great to see white people in these spaces because now maybe we can heal and we can have more conversations, and our world will be a better place, right? As a Black American, I completely understand why the Asian American community is so upset right now and why this is even a discourse in the first place. I have personally seen people say that my hairstyle is unprofessional. The food that I grew up eating was unhealthy or smelly. The music that we listened to was labeled as garbage, even down to our style and the clothes that we wear was labeled as ghetto. But then years later, we see these same white people who said all those negative things wearing the clothes that we were wearing, listening to the music that we were listening to, eating the foods that we used to eat. So when people say, well, why are you mad? It's just food. But it's not. It's history. It's trauma. I mean, be honest. Can you imagine being shamed for something that you do and then it be celebrated like years later when someone else does it? Y'all have to see that connection. Y'all have to see where that feels crazy, right? But that's enough out of me. I'll leave it alone. I just had to put my 2 cents in. But I'm curious, what are y'all's thoughts?
The H Mart situation is a really good example of how race consciousness works in America. And by race consciousness, I literally mean, are you a person of color that is for and in support of or against white supremacy? Yes, it is that simple. If you're not familiar with the H Mart situation, this creator named Madeline went on what I believe was a completely reasonable rant. Her specific example was side-eyeing them in an H Mart, which is a Korean grocery store chain. Now, if y'all watch the entire rant, it's really more about her own personal feelings. And she wraps the video up telling people to still support small businesses like mom and pop Korean grocery stores. Now, the greater overall picture that I feel like it's touching on is how there seems to be a lot of Americans who love to partake in immigrant culture, but don't necessarily love immigrant people. Now, the difference in reaction to that can be seen across this app comes down to your relationship with white supremacy. Every minority group in America has experienced some anti-themness from white America. Every single one. I can also say with a degree of confidence that every non-white group in America has had the experience of their culture being fetishized, turned into a meme, or both. To put it simply, they love the culture but hate the people, and they should not be allowed to do both in the way that white supremacy allows them to. That's where the side eye she mentions giving white people in the Korean grocery store comes in at. It was valid before this current administration, and it's especially valid during this administration. Because the same, we'll say president supporters who want to build a wall and cheer for ICE when they start kicking doors down can't get enough of their local Mexican restaurant, can't get enough Chinese food, can't get enough K-pop, can't stop saying nigga. Every time there's a Trump song, they got to rap. They got to do it over trap, hi-hats, and 808s. I live in Arizona. Do you know how many Trump hats you'll see in establishments owned and operated by people his administration is targeting? If you ask me, they should feel a little weird in these establishments considering how 49% of the 60% white country known as America voted us into this circumstance. That's just the math, right? So on the other side of that, you have creators like Sujia, who, to be fair, it made sense that an Asian food creator of Asian descent wanted to cover the H Mart drama. Now, her take was that food is supposed to be the great unifier across races. And it was all there's one race, the human race, coded. There's a time and a place for that, but in a place with a president like this, during a time where they're sending ICE to go raid the few Chinatowns they're letting y'all have left, the few Koreatowns that they're letting y'all have left. That's right, I said letting y'all have. Being okay with that is really indicative of how okay you are with being subjugated to second-class citizenship in exchange for the 60 to 70% of American white privilege they let y'all access. And don't get me wrong, as a 0% enjoyer of these benefits, it makes sense. I, as a black man, have been profiled in all manner of cultural establishments. It's still America. Remember that 60% number? No matter what business you run, you will be serving white people. Not the problem here at all. The problem is the very classic American racism of hating the people but loving the culture. So to watch people from her community not only deny that very real thought process, but excuse it, to me it's all very, this doesn't affect me, why should I care? To me it's all very, this is how we got to where we are today. I too was surprised at the lack of unity among people of color.
This is all I got from this video. Let me explain to you. Black people has refused to come out since all this their hedge market started. And now they knew that black people knew, because in the comment section, black people knew what they were saying. From the things you can see them write and all of that. They would tell you, we know what you're saying, but we don't want to eat and all of that. They don't want to comment. Now, let me say this. Asians have really been this kind of people that are never outspoken, or they just do not want to speak up when something is going on in their community. Why? Because you and I know how they are the best people, right? They made themselves the best sent angels. That I am the bad person, they are the good people. Now they are now understanding why black people never keep quiet, and they are starting to speak up. And why people are not finding it funny. Then also, Asians that are married to white people think that is not okay, not to allow coming to their mart and all that. I love the analogy one of the black people, what black man used, that this was how you let them in before you know what it's going on. You don't have that thing that belongs to you that you wanted to share with people. See, why all these things was going on, I know I haven't really come out to speak on it very well, though I have brought the video, but not completely. The truth is that Asians, not until they wake up, now they are beginning to wake up because they are seeing that, man, if we don't, we are going to lose it all. Modern minority and all that will not even save you people, because when they want to bite your butt, they will grip your butt and hold it very tight, that it will hurt. Asians are calling out those Asian women that married white men because They talked about it, but they are very, 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 very tricky and cunning about their opinions. They're like, why would you not allow white people to come into the. You know, when you are confused, like you are here, you are there, you are Asian, you're married to a white man, then important discussion about your own community is coming out. You don't know where to stay if you are here, and now you are boom. Let me stand with my husband. That's why sometimes there are some decisions you want to make. You have to put some people aside because you know what you are fighting for. More like it. You guys go get it. I don't care about you people. You know that I always call you guys corny because you guys are completely corny. But yeah, there are some that I love, right? Still, but go get it. Bye for now.